your hosts, Devastating Daryl Pace and Keisha with the
What's going
Flipper.
on, everybody? Welcome to the season premiere, season 3 of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. You're back. You done seen some great episodes, but we going all the way in this time, bro. You know what it is. I am Deshaun Whip Dog Whipple, and I am here with my tag team partner.
Devastating Daryl Pace, ready again for season 3.
Daryl, man, what's been going on, bro? We season 3. We didn't think we were going to go this far, bro.
No, we didn't think we were going to go this far, but the fans have promoted us to go this far. When we thought we might have been done, they said, no, we need more, we need more. They've been behind us 100% on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course, all the podcasting networks. They've been supporting us 100%, and we're ready. We've been at it, thinking about who we can get for this show and this next season. Our guests are better than ever.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys subscribe on everything. You know where we're at. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anything. You got a page, you want to watch a page, just put it in the Whip Show podcast. But wait, did I say podcast? Come on, man. If I'm going to talk about podcasts, I got to bring in the top podcaster in the world, man. Yeah, I'm shining them up real good before I bring them in. Can we bring in? You guys know him? I mean, this man is, I'm saying it myself, the creator of the Attitude Era. This man has changed the way we looked at professional wrestling and entertainment as a whole. Can we bring in Mr. Vince Russo? What's going on, man?
What is on, guys? You got me excited because you guys are all excited. Whip Daddy and Daryl, what's going on, bro? Let's do this thing, man.
Hey, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. But first, before we go any further, I got to ask you, man, how you making it through this pandemic, bro?
Bro, I'm making it, man. I'm, just trying to be extra careful, just following the rules, just taking my vitamins and my vitamin D, and I'm just trying to be real careful, man.
That's what's up. Because you out there in Colorado now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Colorado. Yep.
Okay. Now, how is it for a New York boy to move to Colorado, man?
Hey, bro, listen, I am a New York boy through and through. Grew up on Long Island, New York. But, bro, the older you get, bro, you got to the mountains called out to me, bro. The mountains called out. Rocky Mountain High, bro. I followed. And
Amen.
Yes.
So, once again, first of all, thank you for being on the show. We're going to have a good time today, man. But I want to start off here. Well, we all know about your wrestling career. Everybody knows about how you've been doing your thing for years, man. But I got to tell you, what was the first thing that drew you to the business? I know you talked about it before, but let these people really get in the inside of Vince Russo, not Vic Venom. And I want to talk about him too, but I want to say Vince Russo first, man.
Bro, I'll be honest with you, and you guys can appreciate this, man. I was at a point where I had opened up, I had 2 video stores on Long Island, New York, and this is before Blockbuster. And I was doing really, really, really well. But the inevitable happened, and Blockbuster moved next to one and down the street from the other. I knew my shops were going to go out of business, and quite frankly, I needed a job. So it's not like I wasn't the guy that had dreams and aspirations of one day being in the wrestling business. No, bro, I needed a job. And I thought the wrestling business, I was a fan growing up, just like I was a fan of, TV and baseball and a lot of things. But I thought the wrestling business might be a cool avenue to go down, and that's what I did. And the next thing I knew, I'm here 30 years in the wrestling business.
Yes, you did, man. But I gotta ask you, I'm looking at your hair, and it looks wonderful, by the way. Don't get it twisted. It looks wonderful. But it got a little of that color, just like mine does. How come we didn't grow out of the business? We stayed a part of it, man. Talk to me, Vince.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Whip. I'm trying my damnedest to get out of it, and I keep eliminating more and more and more wrestling from my podcasting, little by little by little by little, because I am not a fan of today's business. I have not been a fan for a long time. I don't enjoy the product. I understand I have a tie to it because of my background. But I got to be honest, man, the older I get, the more and more and more I really am trying to make that separation.
Hey, I understand that. People always ask us, like, how come you don't put any current guys within the last 10 years on your show? Because I don't want to see them. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but some of them, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's twofold. First of all, because I don't kiss the backside of the WWE, they're not going to give me any talent, nor do I care. Second of all, like Whip, I'll be honest with you, I don't like talking about wrestling. I don't enjoy it. So when I bring wrestlers on the show, what do we talk about? Wrestling. And I just got to tell you, man, at this point in my life, I don't care about it. So it's very, very difficult for me to go through an interview where I literally could care less about wrestling, man.
Now, let me ask you this, because you pointed out on the wrestling thing. But you're a writer as well, right? I mean,
Yes.
so was that something that always was a part of you growing up, the writing aspect, or is that something too that just kind of came later?
Oh, no, bro. I went to school for journalism. I mean, that's what I went to school for. I wanted to be a writer. There was no question about that. Bro, my dream job, if you know, like we all have a dream job, mine was not wrestling, and people can't seem to accept that, but it wasn't. My dream job was to be on the radio, man. I loved radio. I had a little taste of it, you know, right out of college. That's what I really, really wanted to do. But I do have a degree in journalism. And I mean, I definitely am a writer by trade.
But you come out of the area of Howard Stern. Was that one of the people you kind of looked up to at the time? Or you
Absolutely, bro. I started listening to Stern all the way back in 1983. So like I was about 22 years old at that time. I had done a little radio on Long Island, and I loved it, man. I was hooked on it. And like, if I had my choice, that's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Howard since the late 80s, when I was too young to be listening to Howard Stern. and the whole thing about Howard Stern is all the characters, right? I mean, all the people, the menagerie of characters that and himself and Robin, they're all, you know, characters on the air as well, right?
Yes.
So I mean, when you look at the wrestling business or what you're doing now, it's all is it really the characters you love putting?
Yeah, I mean, bro, I love how it's set up. First of all, his most interesting guests were people that other shows wouldn't have had on. So he knew who the interesting people were. I can go on and talk. I mean, I'm a huge Tiny Tim Mark. He was a great guest. I am a huge Pat Cooper Mark. He was a good guest. So Howard really knew how to get good guests. On top of that, he created his own characters with his crew. And I thought that was brilliant because so many times I listened to that show, I wanted to find out what was going on in that studio. I didn't care if he brought on a George Clooney or, you know, an A-lister like that. I was more interested in the characters that he developed.
And we're going to segue back. But when you talk about characters, one thing about Howard Stern, you're talking about a genre, is like you said, every person on that show mattered. You could have been a garbage man. You could have been a guy that mopped the floors. You were a character. And that was important. And then we're going to, as you would talk about the wrestling business, especially your age there, everyone on that show mattered. I don't care who you were. They mattered.
No, exactly. Hey, listen, man, the way I looked at it, the way I always handled it was, you know, I always looked at JR as the general manager. So JR would put the team together. Now, JR is the kind of guy, he's not going to sign people because they're his friends or they're his buddies. He took the job very seriously. So when I got that roster from JR, I knew every one of these guys and ladies deserved to be on the roster. They had made it. So at that point, you know, it was my job to get everyone as over as I possibly could be. I didn't care if you were at the bottom of the card, the main eventer, the middle of the card. It didn't matter. The fact that you were on the WWE roster, you were a star, and I had to go to work and do my job.
Man, that's amazing, man. And I'm glad y'all talked about your creativity. But I talked about Vic Venom earlier. That was obviously something, a character you created a while ago. And I remember reading in a magazine, and I'm dating myself, about 25 years ago. And your article, you spoke on, let's throw out all the things that they always do in wrestling. Let's throw out the idea of the referee not seeing because somebody, the hot tag or, not seeing the tags or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, things like that. Why did you, even before it's time, want to throw all that stuff away? Like, how did you vision that, man? There were certain things that were always in the business. Put them in a headlock, 2 elbows, go to the ropes, cut them off. You know what I mean? You always had a vision.
Yeah, I'll tell you why, and it's real simple. Because I was a fan. And, bro, we as an industry, we kind of opened up the door for people to laugh at our craft. And I used to hate when people used to laugh at wrestling, but bro, we're the ones who made them laugh at it. Yeah. So, bro, here's a perfect example with 2021. It's still happening today, and they don't know how to stop. I'll give you a perfect example. Bro, we just had that McGregor fight, yep. Okay? Who was his opponent again? I'm not a big MMA guy. Who was McGregor's opponent?
DP was his initials. I don't remember his name.
Mr. Something, right?
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, bro, I saw the poster for McGregor and his opponent, and it was a profile shot of McGregor, a profile of his opponent, and they're like just both looking at each other. And then it's got the verbiage in the middle. That was the promotional piece. Mm-hmm. Then, bro, I see an AEW promotional piece where it has all the talent on the poster. And what are they doing, bro? They're all making scary wrestling faces. And it's like, they're like, will you guys stop? Will you stop this stupid, immature can we not just make a normal poster like, Mike Tyson would have made going into a fight, or Muhammad Ali, or anybody? But no, bro, we gotta make those wrestling faces. We gotta snarl and we gotta growl, and that's what I'm talking about, bro. People look at that and they freaking laugh at it. And once me and my partner Ed Ferrara, once we left the WWE, bro, they went right back to what they know. And what they know is wrestling. And wrestling today is very, very, very uncool.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. Because to your point, you look at guys like The Rock and Stone Cold. You couldn't laugh at them unless they wanted you to. The way the characters were presented, mean, if you saw these guys, these were people you wanted to drink with, you wanted to hang with, but you also thought they might kick your ass. You never questioned the goofiness. You didn't think that about those two guys, man.
No, absolutely not, bro. And that's why during the Attitude Era, it had an edge. It was very rough. It was very real. You watch today's show, bro, it's just a joke. It's literally written for children. There's nothing serious about it. There's no edge. And it's, the wrestling business has killed the wrestling business, man. The world has evolved and the world has gone on, and it's kind of, professional wrestling's in the rearview mirror.
And help me with that a little bit. Because, when I watched wrestling when I was a kid, right, you see, and even when you take it back to the 80s, you see superheroes, or when we got into the 90s, we saw cool guys. You said, guys, man, I want to hang out with this guy. I want to party with this guy. When you see guys on TV like now, you're like, I don't want to hang out. I don't want to be him. I don't want to date her. Take me back a little bit, because when you're starting in writing, when you're going in, then for just a magazine, and then you're going into a production show, what are you thinking about? I mean, for the characters, like what's turning you on? What are you dialing up for these characters?
Bro, that's a great question. Listen, there's a lot of people in the wrestling business. First of all, I call it the wrestling bubble, because there's a lot of people in the wrestling bubble that were and still are lifers. Like they literally live in this make-believe wrestling bubble where the real world does not exist. I never got in that bubble. I was a wrestling fan. I knew wrestling for what it was. I wasn't a mark. I knew it was a form of entertainment. And I always handled my writing and producing as a normal person. So when I'm sitting here writing for The Rock or Austin or whoever, put anybody in there, Sean, Triple H, Brett, I am putting myself in the shoes of that wrestler. What would Stone Cold do if this actually happened? And every wrestler had a different personality. Every wrestler would handle circumstances differently. Once the writers left that world, they went right back to wrestling. So in wrestling, you got good guys and you got bad guys. And the good guys are going to do things this way, and the bad guys are going to do this way. There's no shades of gray. They're not true to their characters. And this, I say this all the time when I watch the show. Bro, the only people that talk like wrestlers are wrestlers. Bro, do you, outside of a wrestling show, you guys ever hear the word coward? Coward, like who? Bro, you guys ever been in a bar fight and you know you're ready to go and you turn around and call the dude a coward? Wrestlers are the only people that talk like wrestlers, and it's insulting, man. It just insults the intelligence.
Now that's a very valid point, but I want to go here from there. Now, you talked about being a writer and everything, how you attack the characters. What would you tell a young man growing up right now? He's going to NYU or any college, and he wants to be a writer, but he wants to go, whether it be a professional wrestler, whether he wants to write movies. What would you tell them to really get better?
Bro, I would say a couple of things. First of all, do not, like, bro, if you're thinking of being a wrestling writer, I apologize, but I would tell you you're an imbecile. Bro, all you have to do is look at the numbers of professional wrestling. Bro, they've been on a decline for 20 years. This is a dying business. And you got to separate, from what I like to what I could make a career of. Okay, wrestling is not up on the rise. So you got to handle it as business. So the first thing I would say to them is, bro, you don't want to get into professional wrestling. It's a dying art. And on top of that, it's so political. I would never do it again. Never. Now, if you want to be a writer, bro, you got an advantage because you guys know with all these streaming services popping, bro, content is king. Content is king. So I would say two things to an up-and-coming writer. First of all, write every single day. Even if you have to force yourself to write, you got to write every day because you got to get better at what you do. Second of all, I honestly believe if you are talented and you put yourself right smack in Hollywood, if you plant yourself and put yourself in the middle of that town, you will make it. I honestly believe that because everybody's looking for content. Everybody.
Nice. Which leads to my next question. You personally, why haven't you've got the brand? I know you work hard every day with the brand. You got multiple shows on that, but why haven't you written a movie, or have you? And it just doesn't come out. A movie, television show, something that degree.
No, bro, I have written a couple of screenplays. I wrote a pilot for Fox once, but bro, like I said again, you got to be in that town. You got to be in that town, and I'm past that. Like I'm not starting out anymore. I just turned 60 yesterday, so like that's over. But you've got to be in that town, bro. You've got to be there.
Thanks a lot for saying you turned 60 yesterday. I was going to sing happy birthday to you later on, but you done messed it up, man.
Sorry about
that. Happy birthday anyway, Mr.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I got to ask you a question. I don't want to jump, but I want to put this in because I don't want to miss it. We talk about today, right, with the $1 billion acquisition of Peacock for WWE's content and all of this. You've been vilified for the death of WCW. And my point, my thought process is this: Warner Brothers should be vilified for the death of WCW because they had, number one, they had IP, content. If they wanted to put it on the shelf, they could have done whatever. And all that IP, all that content that they had available to them, they basically sold it away for nothing. Why are you the villain when obviously we know what Time Warner has mismanaged?
Bro,
Why everyone else? Why have you been vilified for that?
No, it's not everybody else. It's like, bro, listen, I saw it. I was there. I saw it with my own two eyes when the merger was made with AOL. Everybody who was there knew it was clear they did not want to be in the wrestling business. They made that decision. They wanted to get out of wrestling. It had nothing to do with any. It was a business decision. Bro, you got to be like literally just an absolute complete mark if you think the writer of a show. Meanwhile, keep in mind, I only wrote for WCW for 9 months. Every time I went back and wrote for WCW, when you look at the numbers were going back up. You got to be some kind of like just an absolute mark to believe that a writer of a company in 9 months, while the ratings were going up, can kill something that's been around for 20 years. So it's those people. And I don't even entertain the discussion anymore because, man, bro, if you're thinking that, I don't even know what to tell you.
No, I wanted to touch on that because, again, it makes absolutely no sense. And thinking about all the content that they had and could have used right now today, it makes no sense. So obviously there are motives there beyond.
They made a decision. They wanted to get out of the wrestling business, and they got out of the wrestling business. It was that simple. Everybody there working at the time, we all knew what was going on, and it was business. But that's the thing, bro. A lot of wrestling marks, they don't understand it's a business. They can't separate the make-believe television show from the real life business. They can't make that separation, and the lines get blurred. And then the next thing you know, they convince themselves, oh, a writer put WCW out. Bro, I was listening to one of these dirt shows the other week, where somebody honestly said, man, what Vince Russo did to WCW, I wished I could have punched him in the face. And I'm like, bro, do you know how many television shows I watch? And I'm watching as a viewer, and I'm also watching as a writer. And some of the decisions like they make, I don't agree with. Like I would have either done this or I would have even done that. But I always look at it like, bro, it's their show. Like they do whatever they want with it. And but bro, for me to have the desire to punch one of those writers in the face over a like it's so absurd, bro. It's ridiculous.
I'm at the point that, like, we'll take a popular show right now, The Mandalorian. Everybody generally loves it. If tomorrow, I feel like if you came out tomorrow and said, I've been writing The Mandalorian secretly for the past 2 years, everybody would come out and go, oh, I hate that show. I mean,
oh, absolutely. Bro, absolutely. Without, bro, I say this all the time, bro, I could save an apartment, a blazing inferno and save 1,000 puppies inside, and they would still hate my guts. Bro, here's what it comes down to at the end of the day. When I started writing wrestling, okay, I knew we had the wrestling fans. As long as marquee is on the board, as long as wrestling is in the title, they're going to watch the show. That's what they do. What I had to do was I had to get this whole entire audience, the rest of the world who didn't like wrestling. So how did we do that? We did that through entertainment. That's how we did it. We opened up the envelope. Anybody could have watched the show during the Attitude Era. These people that are my critics, somewhere along the lines, bro, they've convinced themselves that wrestling is real. So if it's not 20-minute match after 20-minute match after 20-minute match, they hate it. And I represented the other side of it. I represented the television viewer. What does how can I get the normal person at home who's not a wrestling fan watch this show? And like I said, bro, we did that through entertainment and storylines and characters. Well, the wrestling purists did not like that, because all they want is wrestling, bro. They want bell-to-bell wrestling. You get bell-to-bell wrestling now on AEW, and that show has been on for 15 months and has not grown its audience one iota. The people who watched AEW on day one are the same people watching it today. And the only way they're going to grow that product is if they open it up to non-wrestling fans. If not, bro, they're going to do their 750,000, 850,000 viewers forever, because you're only going to watch that show if you like the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah. And I'm glad you touched on that, because I know you heard about it. Probably about a month ago, they had to shift AEW times, and I think they came on after the NBA. And a lot of fans got to see AEW that hadn't watched it before. They got a lot of backlash.
Yep.
Why do you think that happened?
Because they put it on and it's fake, phony bullshit. That's why. A normal television viewer is watching that and laughing at it. Bro, let me break it down to you in the most logical form, okay? Guys, from the beginning of time, you win a wrestling match when you pin your opponent inside of the ring, 1, 2, 3. That's how you win a wrestling match. Okay, if that's the premise, then why are we jumping to the outside of the ring? So, bro, what I'm saying is normal television viewers are saying that. Why are you diving on top of 10 guys that are obviously waiting there to catch you when A, you have to hope you don't kill yourself, B, then you got to pick up his dead carcass, roll it in the ring. It's stuff like that, bro, that if you're not a wrestling fan, people are sitting at home laughing at that. And bro, but like I said, they're in this bubble. You know, there's a very small niche audience that likes that kind of stuff, and that's who they're catering to. It's bad business, bro. It's like you guys, you guys say, okay, we're doing this podcast now. You know what? Once we get 100,000 viewers, we don't want any more. We're not going to promote anymore. We're not going to. We're going to be happy. Who says that? Like, no matter what we were drawing at the WWE, I always wanted to get more people to watch. Always. These guys are satisfied with like 750,000 viewers, and that's nothing. I mean, that is zero.
You're right, because you being a TV guy, as you know, ratings, if it wasn't a wrestling show, it would have been canceled with 750,000. I mean, let's be honest, they would have got canceled.
Absolutely.
But they're a wrestling show. But I gotta tell you, man, you talked about the fans, and yes, we need them. I get it, but man, it's hard to pay attention to them. I mean, these Facebook groups, these different platforms that they can speak, the vocal minority, and people really buy into it, like you just said. They really think that because a 5-star, quote unquote, 5-star match is what's going to take wrestling back to its heyday, and it's not.
Bro, it blows my mind, like the group of people that you're talking about, bro, how seriously they take a make-believe business. Bro, nobody's beating anybody. This is a television show. It's all predetermined. But like I said, bro, somehow, I don't know, man, maybe after years and years of watching it, like they've convinced themselves that this stuff is real. Bro, I say all the time, okay, bro, if you guys want it to be real, then go out there and do it for real.
Yeah.
Literally go out there and do it for real. Because, bro, like they think they're over and they're tough guys in there because they flip and flop. Okay, bro, real simple. Go fight each other for real. Then tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai. I don't know if you've watched it yet, but I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai. But I joined a couple platforms just to see how people talk, and they talk the same way. They sitting there destroy. Now they love the show, but season 3, episode 6, at the 38-minute mark, no, it shouldn't happen that way. And now they're ready to turn on the show.
It's crazy,
I'm like, watch
man.
it, enjoy it. If you disagree with one thing, watch the
you
next
guys,
episode.
It's freaking entertainment, man. Sit back, watch the show. Yeah, bro. Like I said, guys, this is how I always look at it. Bro, the writers writing that show, the people producing that show, it's their show, bro. Like, they're going to create whatever they want. You sit there, you watch it. I like this. I don't like that. Maybe I would have done this. Maybe I would have. But to take it to the level of seriousness that some people does, it just, bro, it's almost frightening.
Yeah. Let me get this one last thing in before I go. I want to touch on that too. And you spoke on in an interview a while ago about the idea that sometimes the writers actually change direction because they pay attention to the internet. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? I'm going to let you answer that.
Bro, because they're marks and they want to be over with the internet. That's why. Bro, when I was writing the Attitude Era, we weren't reading Dave Meltzer's dirt sheet. We weren't reading what those people, I didn't care. I knew those people were watching the show no matter what. I don't care about those people. I got to get the guy sitting at home who might be on the fence. I got to get his wife. I got to get his kids. How do we get every television viewer to watch this show? That's what we concentrated on.
Yeah, I take it back to this, man. As a wrestling fan. The Savage Steamboat, everybody talks about the match. I was, watching at the time. It wasn't about the match. It was the match before the match where Savage injured Steamboat, his larynx, he swallowed his tongue. And it was Bruno Sammartino interviewing Savage. And he got so incensed by what Savage was doing, choking him out. Because I can't stand it. It's all of that story. So then when they had a fantastic match, it wasn't just in and of itself. It topped that whole story, building up to it. Now, you as a writer, as a creative person, and I want to understand a couple things. I know we're going to talk. First of all, I want you to bring us in that writing room. But I want to understand you before we get into that writing room. What are your influences, right? I mean, comics. When you first get into that writer's room, what are you bringing in there? What kind of wrestling were you into? What kind of whatever it was? What's that creative things that you've seen that are kind of bringing that you have carrying into that room before you? Well,
bro, I obviously growing up, I mean, I loved watching TV. I love watching movies, but I'm also like very real. Like I like real dialogue, what people would really, really say to each other. So it was the combination, bro, of just great characters I saw and how finely tuned they were and the dialogue and the way they spoke. And that's pretty much how I tried to handle every different character, on the show, so it was really years of watching. And then obviously, I went to school for writing. Ed Ferraro was a television writer, so he was really able to teach me a lot of the craft of it. See, bro, that's the problem you're having today. The reason we peaked during the Attitude Era were because writers were writing the show. Okay, before writers, wrestlers were writing the show. After writers, wrestlers are writing the show. There's a difference between a wrestler booking a wrestling show and a writer writing a television show. There's a huge difference, bro. So right now what you're seeing is a wrestling show, not a television show.
Speaking of television shows, let's shift gears just a little bit. What does Vince Russo watch now on television?
Bro, I'll tell you what I just started watching because I turned 60 yesterday and I said, nobody believed me. And I said, bro, I'm telling you, once I turn 60, the only show I'm going to watch is Raw because Raw brings in a lot of income for me. I can't afford not to watch Raw. I get paid from people to critique Raw, but I said, I am not watching another SmackDown show. I am not watching another AEW show. I am not wasting my time with this stuff. I can't be a 60-year-old man looking at this stuff. It's embarrassing. I can't, bro. Who knows how much time I have left on this earth? So one thing I dedicated myself to was I am going to watch those shows that everybody talks about, shows I may have missed. I'm really going to stay on top of television and whatnot. And bro, I tell you, I started watching a show that because of me and my background and what I like, I would have never watched, but everybody watched it. I started watching The Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm not a zombie guy. I would never watch a show from that era. And bro, like, I'm watching this show now. I'm into season 7, and I do a lot of videos, and I'm breaking down the show from a writing perspective. I'm saying what I like and what I don't like and what I think didn't make sense. But it's, it's just real interesting. And bro, it's like I said, man, wrestling shows are not written like they're wrestling shows. I don't need to sit here and watch 2 men or 2 women having a 15-minute fake fight when I already know who's going to win before it even starts. There's no storyline. There's no stakes. There's nothing. With these television shows, man, you can just really dive in. Then I'll look at the ratings. Where did they start losing people? Why did they start losing people? So that's what I've really, really been doing of late.
Okay. Now, being a television guy, you just spoke on the ratings. A lot of people try to say, oh, the ratings don't matter anymore on any television show because you can DVR it, you can watch it later on. Personally, I don't agree with that because we know about advertising monies. But what do you think about? Are ratings still important?
Bro, ratings would be huge if they were getting ratings. If they were getting ratings, you would hear about how important. They don't have any ratings. Their ratings suck. So, of course, that means ratings don't matter. Bro, people forget. I hate to break the news to everybody. During the Attitude Era, there was a thing called the VCR, where you could record the show. It was the same thing, bro. The only difference was there was a tape involved and it wasn't digital. So there was the same thing, bro. People could have been watching Nitro and taping Raw. It was the same exact thing. And bro, I'm sorry, I don't know one single person that watches wrestling on their freaking phone. That's because the ratings are in the shitter. And so, of course, ratings don't matter. Meanwhile, I think CSI, I think that's on either opposite Raw or opposite SmackDown, one of the 2 shows. But the other day I saw, CSI won the night. They had 10 million viewers. Well, why aren't those people DVRing? 10 million viewers watch CSI in real time. Why? So what? We only DVR wrestling?
Well, you talked about The Walking Dead. People watch that in real time, and they have rating records. And when it didn't get down, when they started going down, they use the same thing. Oh, well, people are taping The Walking Dead.
Bro, you guys know when something is must-see TV, you ain't taping it, bro. You're sitting there, you're waiting for it to come on. When it's not that important, then you could tape it and watch it another time. If it's must-see TV, bro, come on. How many millions and millions and millions of viewers, the last episode of Game of Thrones. Bro, I know so many people that binge watched Cobra Kai season 3. Everybody sat there and watched it straight through. You DVR something, bro, and it's not important. It's not a priority. If I watch it, great. If I don't watch it, no problem. But yeah, bro, there were people waiting for Cobra Kai to come out. And bro, once you saw that first episode, I got to see what happens next. And I got to see what happens next. And
I told everybody, if you ain't watching, you got to go watch Cobra Kai like right now. Like watch it right. So you're right. You're right. I want to go into one of our segments right now, though. And this is my thing. It's called Book Yourself. Vince Russo. And what we do is we say if you were to book yourself in whatever level, whether it be wrestling, television. But right now, 2021, where could Vince Russo book himself and be the strongest personality, entertainer, whatever you want to consider yourself right now? Where would you book yourself?
Bro, I swear to you, to this day, I still want to be in radio. Like, I mean, and I've dabbled a little here and there in Colorado, but I've never gotten like a full-time gig or anything else like that. But if I had my druthers, I mean, I would still want to be in radio. That's where I want to be.
I want to see you do some acting too, man. I know you said you passed all that, man. I think you'll be a great actor as well, man. You're awesome, man.
Well, I mean, bro, I really, I enjoy working behind the scenes more. Like I did not like being a character on TV. I liked really working behind the scenes. That was a lot more rewarding to me. But yeah, bro, I mean, I just, you know, like I said, man, I always wanted to get in the radio. I still want to get in the radio.
You guys heard that. You heard that. If you guys are radio jobs, I'm saying, get them.
Now on that point, the book yourself point, not talking about wrestling. Is there a show? You talked about The Walking Dead. Is there a show where you say, hey, give me the reins of this show and I would make it even better? Give me an episode. Let me write an episode of this show. Any show out there.
You know, bro, that's hard to say because I tend to only like shows like I really, really like. You know what I'm saying, bro? So like shows that are mediocre, I mean, I kind of tend to tune out of. But I mean, shows that I enjoy, I just really, really enjoy. If bro, you know, it's funny as a television viewer, bro, that's why like people like, you know, I always hear, bro, because I'm critical of wrestling. Oh, you're bitter because they won't hire you. Like, no, bro, the show sucks. And the reason why I say that is, bro, a lot of times I'll watch a TV show, bro, 1-2 episodes, they'll lose me. Like you'll just lose me, you know? It's got to be a really, really good show to just, you know, get me watching every single week.
Nice. Now I want to go over to talk about the brand a little bit. Vince Russo's The Brand. You created almost a whole network yourself. Can you talk a little bit about the brand to people that aren't totally aware, even though they should be, but if they aren't?
Yeah, bro, we're going into 7 years, man. In March, we're going to be 7 years, and I have a podcasting network, and I have many, many shows under my umbrella with many, many different people from the, you know, wrestling business that either do a show with me or they do their own show. I mean, gosh, bro, I've got so many people I forgot, but, you know, just incredible. PJ Polanco, Shane Douglas, Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat, Stevie Richards, everybody knows, Big Vito, Disco Inferno. Kevin Sullivan, Dutch Mantel. There are so many shows under my umbrella. We're always adding new shows. I have 2 platforms. One is russosbrand.com. We got a bunch of shows on that channel. And then we got a bunch of shows on Patreon, patreon.com/RussoTWC. Those are my 2 main platforms, bro. And like I said, we probably got, man, at least 20 podcasts going right now.
Nice. Now, I want to say this before I forget, man. We actually had Superman, Sean Hernandez, on the show last season. You remember him from Impact?
Yep.
He said some really nice things about you, man. I purposely asked him, what did he think? And he said, man, people can say what they want. But he said, Vince Russo purposely would try to get everybody on the show an opportunity to shine. He said at the time he was a mid-card guy. You helped elevate him. Next thing you know,
bro, that's the thing. First of all, I love Sean. Sean's a great dude. But bro, that's the thing, man. When I worked for WWE, Vince McMahon was the boss and nobody effed with Vince McMahon. Okay? So what that meant is if you effed with me, you effed with Vince McMahon. So nobody effed with me. I never had to have eyes in the back of my head. I never had to have politics. So what I could 100% concentrate on was writing the best show I possibly could. When I moved on in my career, bro, to WCW and TNA, I didn't have that. And the reason why I say that, bro, is I'll just take a Sean Hernandez, for instance. If all of a sudden I'm trying to get an entire roster over like I was trying at the WWE, and all of a sudden, bro, somebody doesn't like this guy and somebody doesn't like that guy. I don't have Vince McMahon saying, shut the F up. I would have to deal with all these outside people. I don't like this guy. I don't like that guy. I don't like, and bro, I was never able to just do the same job I could with the protection of Vince McMahon. And bro, once it gets to that point, it's just not fun anymore, man. It's just not fun anymore. That's why, I mean, I walked away from TNA almost 10 years ago, and I don't ever want to go back to mainstream wrestling again.
And is there any, with that, and I'm sure you get the question, people talk about the Hall of Fame and this and that. Is there any desire with, is that what, I don't, is it more about care? Is there anything with that? And how's the relationship? Are there any, you know, you still have a relationship with some of those guys, the Vinces and people like that?
Well, I don't have any relationship with any of those guys because, bro, I don't kiss their ass, and they don't like when you talk badly about them. Guys, you don't want me to talk badly about you. It's real simple. Put some effort into your show. You guys aren't even trying. It's a joke. You're collecting money. You're not even trying. You don't want me to bury your show. Write a good show. I'm not going to kiss your backside to get on your good side because I don't want a job. I have no interest in getting a job. Bro, as far as the Hall of Fame, bro, at the end of the day, what that's all about is Vince McMahon. Who is Vince McMahon? Bro, I don't need Vince McMahon's stamp of approval. You know who gives me my stamp of approval, bro? My wife of 37 years, my kids, my friends, people I worked with. I don't need Vince McMahon. Oh, Vince Russo is a Hall of Famer, so now we can all recognize his greatness. Give me a freaking break, bro. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Like I said, bro, what's important to me is, you know, you talk to my kids, you talk to my wife, you talk to people I worked with. That's all that matters to me.
You know, and that's it's so refreshing because there's so many people in the business that's all they have. There is nothing outside of the wrestling business. And when you talk about something else, wait, my life is that squared circle. That is it. And so it's refreshing to have somebody, look, I'm creative, but this is a job. Yep. And I try to do it as creatively. Bro, I'm thinking, like, again, if Disney called you tomorrow and said, write The Mandalorian, it's a job. I don't think you're tied to it for the rest of your life.
Bro, people, they just can't accept, bro, it was a job. I went to work every day and did the best that I could do. That's it. That's all it was. Bro, every job I ever had was that way. The brand is that way. I wake up every morning. I get in front of this camera. I do the best job I possibly can. That's it. For some reason, though, bro, people just can't accept that.
And that leads me to one of my final questions. Right now, Vince Russo, 20 years later, people still have your name in their mouth. But I want to say this. Are you happy?
Am I happy?
In life,
oh
currently.
God, bro, when I left the wrestling, when I left the business, there was such a sense of freedom. Just no more BS, no more politics. Bro, being able to be me. You know, that is a gift. At my age, not having to worry about what I'm saying and who I'm offending and who's not going to like me and who, oh my God, bro, just being able to have the freedom to be me, I wouldn't trade it in for anything in the world, bro.
And that's awesome. I mean, we talk about the Hall of Fame. What's your Hall of Fame? What are your achievements throughout your career that are like maybe your top 3 achievements that you say, you know what, this is my showcase. These are the 3 things I've done that are bigger than anything else.
Bro, I swear to God, I just said this the other day, and people think I'm kidding, and I'm not kidding. 3 things. My first book, Forgiven, because as a writer, you always want to write that book. And when you write that book, like it's just a huge accomplishment. Then I went on to write a second book. And I think that was my second biggest accomplishment. And then, bro, just literally maybe 3 months ago or whatever, I had my first action figure, which I thought was a great accomplishment. And I'm very proud of my action figure. I swear to God, bro, those 3 things, my 2 books and my action figure were my greatest accomplishments in the business.
That's awesome. I love the toys. So having yourself, it's got to be surreal when you can buy yourself or your kids can buy you.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I got one question I always do. And again, you've been everywhere. And maybe it takes you back when you first started your career. We always talk about mark out moments. When's it, when you're in the locker room or you're in the writer's room and you go, oh my God, I'm next to this guy. What was that one point in your career when you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sitting here with X?
Bro, I'll tell you what it was. And I don't know, you guys, I think, are a lot younger than me. But like, I've met everybody, like, who's ever been anybody. But I got to tell you, bro, when I met, in the wrestling business, when I met Ernie Ladd, I mean, bro, I swear to you, I am not kidding. I'll never forget this. Ernie Ladd shook my hand. Bro, his hand wrapped around my wrist, and bro, this guy, and forget wrestling. This guy was such a brilliant entertainer. And bro, this was a guy that was a football player. So got into the wrestling business, understood it, knew what it was all about, but turned out to be such a great, great, great entertainer. And when I met him, because he was really one of my heroes growing up, I was just completely honored.
Oh man, awesome. Any big cat stories?
Nah, bro, I was, I was a little Ralph Cramden, hum the. He meant so much to me as a kid, man. I loved, bro, all those old times, meeting the Valiant brothers, was great for me, bro. Getting to work with like Chief J Strongbow, like all those guys. I mean, and bro, today, this younger talent, like, I was reading something from Hulk the other day where he Hulk, was saying, bro, I walk into a locker room, half of them respect me and half of them don't. And I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, that's freaking Hulk Hogan. Like, how do you, but it's a different world today, bro. It's a different world. When I got to meet those guys that I grew up on, I mean, bro, it was an absolute honor to me.
Nice. That does make me think about one more question, though. So the other day, Taker got some flack for a comment. Did you see his comment about the locker room? If nobody knows, I'm paraphrasing here. Something to the degree of, back in the day, guys were men. They were tough. They were stronger. Now the guys just want to be in the back playing video games and high-fiving. I think a lot of people got offended and took it out of context for what he was saying, but what do you think about that?
Oh, no, nobody got offended. The truth hurts, okay? Because Taker was being very nice about it. Because when you talk to those guys privately, they think today's business is a joke. They're not going to say it because they're still affiliated with the WWE. But, bro, it's this simple. It's this simple. So I'll say what they won't say, okay? Because I don't care. I don't want your stupid job. Bro, anybody can be a wrestler today. Anybody, bro. You can weigh 120 pounds and you could be a professional wrestler on television. And bro, if I was one of the boys with what they went through to earn their stripes and get their spot on a national network on TV, if I was one of those guys, I would think that what I'm seeing today on TV is an absolute joke. Bro, there isn't any profession, any other profession in the world where, oh, bro, I can be on national TV. I could be on primetime TV because when I was a 10-year-old kid, I wanted to be a wrestler. Bro, anybody can be a wrestler. Not anybody could be an actor. Not anybody could be a baseball player. Not anybody could play in the NFL. But in 2021, anybody can be a wrestler. And that's what guys like Taker are taking exception to. It shouldn't be that easy, bro.
For sure. Well, Daryl, I got to go to the final segment. So if you got anything else for him, go ahead and shoot him out.
Man, I got a million things for him. I honestly, I get him for 5 hours. I'll ask you one thing. What are your thoughts? Man, there's so many. What are your thoughts on, I guess, one guy I love growing up, Gorilla Monsoon? You work with Gorilla.
That was another one. Yeah, bro. When I worked at the WWE, they had, Titan Tower, and then you had to go to the television studio. Gorilla was always at the studio. So I remember when I had to go to the studio and Gorilla was there, see, bro, that's the thing, man. when you want to learn about the wrestling business and you see a guy like that, like everything stops. And like every word he says, I'm going to hang on. Bro, today, when guys like me, I try to give my advice. I try to say, hey, listen, AEW, you got 750,000 viewers. You want to know how you can get 7.5 million? I could tell you that. I did that, guys. I tell you that, bro, today you're irrelevant. You don't matter. You're old. You're over the hill. Okay, bro. Back then, when I met a guy like Gorilla, I met a guy like Blassie, I met a guy like Albano, I shut my mouth and I took every word from these guys. That does not happen today, bro.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it seems like that's society as a whole.
Yes, as a whole.
Just
yep. It's not just the wrestling business. That is society as a whole. Yes.
Well, Vince Russo, first of all, thank you again. We're going to have you on again one time. So whenever you're free again, we're going to have to bring you on. But it's time for the final segment, and it is called Ring the Bell. It's where we give you 60 seconds to say whatever you want to talk about. You can promote the brand again. You can say some inspiring words to people. You can talk about what you're going to eat for lunch, whatever. But right now, Vince Russo, you got 60 seconds. I need you to ring the bell.
Well, guys, I'm doing what I still was doing 20 years ago and what I got in the wrestling business to do, bro. I am still entertaining people today. I love to entertain people. Guys, we live in a screwed up world, especially in 2020. It was bad on everybody. All I care about, man, is if you go to russosbrand.com, you laugh, you learn. There's a community, there's family, there's togetherness. It's a safe place. Everybody can be themselves. I also do a show every week called That's Life, and it is based on my Christianity. And what I do is I take my Christianity and I talk about it in a real life sense to really make people, understand how you can walk through life every single day. Just strive to be a better person, strive to help other people, just glorify God and glorify his kingdom. It's a very important show that I do. But, bro, like I said, man, I'm here to entertain. I'm here to be myself. I'm transparent. I try to make people laugh. I like when people laugh. And, if you're just looking for that, bro, just russosbrand.com. It all starts and ends right there.
You guys heard it, russobrand.com. Thank you very much, Daryl. You got something to say to him before we get him out of here?
No, I mean, put Christ first. And there's nothing else. The only thing I want to say to you, you're going to get a Mr. from me. I'm the only Mr. I've given on this show. You're going to get a Mr. Russo from me. I appreciate you coming on here. I respect you and what you've done in this business. I respect very creative people. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, man. You guys got a great little show here, man. Season 3, that is awesome. Just keep on keeping on, man.
Thank you very much. And I want to say as well, thank you very much. And I'm going to tell you, we had ulterior motives for bringing you on. This was our audition tape to be a part of RussoBrand.com anyway.
We could talk about that, bro. Ring me up, bro.
We're going to chop it up, man. Well, don't get out of here yet. We're going to talk in a second, though. But real talk, guys, thank you again. Like I said, we had an amazing season 3 premiere with Mr. Vince Russo. You know what to do. Go to RussoBrand.com and make sure you check us out each and every Friday. Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can call the Flintstones, use the little bird phone. I don't care. Just make sure you listen to the Whip Show podcast. I am Deshaun, Whip Dog Whipple, and
Devastating Daryl Pace.
And we had the man Vince Russo. See you next time on the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. Take care, guys.